Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme, and we're continuing this evening in Mollusk Graveyard. Now, you can see a number of graves there, there's quite a lot of them, with the surname Biggar on them, and there's a reason for that, and so I will reveal that reason later on in the video. But what I want to do now is I want to talk to you about a few other things concerning this graveyard. So nothing remains of the original church, which was erected by the Knights of St. John, the Order of the Knights Hospitaller, which was a Catholic military order founded in the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem in the 11th and 12th centuries AD. Now, they also had a monastery in Temple Patrick, but the church itself that was here was erected in the 14th and 15th centuries. There's also a bullion stone here for grinding grain, and also an old lamp stand, which originally stood in the centre of the graveyard to light up the area around it. Now, after a burial, the lamp was lit, and the relatives of the deceased would keep watch over the grave for the body snatchers, also known as resurrectionists, until the body was sufficiently decomposed so as to be of no use to anyone. Now, Robert Armstrong, in his book Through the Ages to Newtownabbey, he tells the story of two body snatchers who exhumed two coffins from this graveyard. And, of course, they had been promised a large reward for their trouble. But as they made their way along the old coach road in their horse-drawn cart, with the two coffins concealed below a large tarpaulin, a drunk decided to hop on for a ride to the cart, unbeknown, of course, to the two body snatchers. So the drunk, thinking that the two coffins were wooden boxes, he snuggled down between them underneath the tarpaulin. Unawares, the body snatchers carried on their journey until they reached the junction of the High Town Road, and here a disagreement broke out between the two of them as to which was the quickest route to Belfast, when suddenly the tarpaulin was lifted and a raggedy figure poked its head out from underneath and said, "Will you two make up your minds or we'll never get home?" I'm sure they were absolutely terrified. But there's also an underground chamber that runs underneath this graveyard, which is known as a souterrain. But what I want to do now is I want to take you and I want to show you these, the lampstand and also the bullion stone. Fantastic that we still have these, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely brilliant. And it's a great evening here in the graveyard, as you can see. You can see the sun shining through the trees. Beautiful, isn't it? So you can see the lampstand there. So I'm going to take you over and let you see this. Absolutely brilliant to still have these. Isn't that fantastic? And that would have stood in the middle of the cemetery. So you're looking at a real piece of history here, folks. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And then also the bullion stones here as well. Now, it needs a bit of cleaning, but I don't have time to clean it tonight. Quite large, as you can see. Brilliant. But what I want to do now is I want to take you to the grave of Francis Joseph Biggar. Now, Francis Joseph Biggar was born in 1863. The area of Hightown was actually once known, believe it or not, as Biggarstown, because many of the family settled in the area and are actually buried here in the graveyard. And so that's why I mentioned those graves at the start of the video. So Francis Joseph Biggar was a solicitor by profession and also a devoted lover of nature, art and literature. He was a renowned Irish historian and author and one of the earliest supporters of the Irish language movement. And of course, Queen's University actually give him a master's degree in 1926. So they awarded him a master's degree. He was also an archaeologist with sites that he had dug, being known as, of course, informally as well and truly Bigard. So if you've heard that term, well and truly Bigard, that's where it comes from. And he was also an architect and also a Freemason. And he died on the 9th of December 1926 at his home. So I'm going to take you and show you his grave. But this is a great cemetery, I have to say. And people would say, but is it not a bit morbid, Mark, getting into cemeteries? Well, I suppose you could think of it like that, but I like to think of cemeteries and old graveyards as open-air history parks, because the information that you get on some of these graves is fantastic. They all have a story to tell. So that cross there, that is the grave that I want to show you. That's the grave of Francis Joseph Biggar. And there's another headstone you can see there with Biggar on it. So this is the family plot. But it's the cross, the Celtic cross, that we're interested in, because that's the grave of the man himself. As you can see from the base there, Francis Joseph Biggar. So there you go, folks. Isn't that amazing? And he's buried here in Mollusk Cemetery. And it's only recently that I've discovered this cemetery. I didn't even know it was here. Of course, I videoed the grave of James Hope, or Jimmy Hope as he's also known. So you can check that wee video out. But absolutely amazing. So a bit of history here in this graveyard, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and God bless.